Here we are tonight. So tonight we're going to kind of do a quick review over some things. Some keys to note are the shortcut keys. Okay. Now you are going to use these keys over and over and over and over again. Okay. If you're in the line command, oops, hold on. Let's actually click over here. If you're in the P line command, or whatever it is you're in, and you click a point and you find yourself, it's like, well, I want a nice straight line. F8 turns on ortho. Ortho keeps you in the X or Y axes. Now you can rotate that to be off. You can actually rotate it like 45 degrees and you're drawing at 45-degree angles instead, but typically it's going to be X and Y axes in this particular aspect, and that's ortho. You turn that off and you're free flowing as far as your angle that you're drawing. All right, but ortho on and it's click. That's the F8 key. All right, now something else you might want to work on is the snap key. F9, that allows you to actually toggle snap on and off. And what happens is when your snap is set to a particular unit size, it will snap. Notice how it snaps between those points. Okay, it should be snapping, I think, a ½ inch is what the default there is, but it snapped to those points. So if I pick a point and drop that point, it's going to be on a ½ inch increment. Boom. All right, so that's the snap key. Something else you might want to understand is what?
We can't see your screen.
You can't see my screen? It's
No.
check your computer. You might need to toggle onto the shared screen and make sure you can see it.
We're on Papa's tablet.
You're on Papa's tablet and you can't see my screen. Okay. Let me stop sharing and reshare. Did that help?
I can see now.
You can see now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. All right, so let's kind of redo a little bit of that. We were talking about the F8 key. Okay, if you're drawing here, if ortho's off, you're kind of free flowing on your angle that you're actually drawing your lines at. Okay, if ortho's on, it's going to lock you into an X or Y axis. That is something you can rotate with a different setting, but we're not going to go with that right now. And somebody needs to, oh, never mind. That's my computer making that note right here. Okay. And if you turn on F9, it actually locks you into increments set by your snap setting. If I turn tap snap on with the F9 toggle off and on, you notice it locks in between ½ inch jumps. You can kind of see that. If I'm at the starting point, it's 0, but I move over a little bit and it goes 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2. It locks me into those increments. That's what snap is. I turn that off and it kind of goes iffy wherever I'm picking. So snap gives you some accuracy to pick points that you actually want to locate and go with. Okay. Another one is O snaps. If you hit F3, O snaps will turn off and on. It's a toggle as well. O snaps are your automated running O snaps. Okay. BD O snap. You bring O snap. You bring up O snap. You can see if you toggle it on, it's going to run endpoint, center, and extension. I don't really run with any O snaps at all, so I usually toggle all these off and just leave it alone. I type in mine. Okay, I highly recommend you guys get used to that as well. I've seen some people get really annoyed with the fact they couldn't actually pick something, and it gets really frustrating for them. So I just leave O snaps off. So I toggle that and hit F3 and leave it off. All right. So again, that toggle is F3. If you have nothing set, it's going to pop up the O snap command. All right. So those are 3 keys you need to understand. F3, O snap, F8, ortho, F9 is your snap. Now, another one is grid, which is F7. That's going to toggle the grid off and on. As you can see, the grid is in the background. That is toggling off grid. All right. It'll clear your screen up a little bit, but it'll also show you the grid. I typically run without grid because I pretty much want to know where I'm going with just where I'm typing. All right. So that's a quick review of the shortcut keys. Now, another thing I want you to understand is when you're working your CAD, you're going to find yourself getting down the line, you're running through things, and if the power drops off, guess what happens? All your work is lost. So you want to get into the habit of hitting that Control S key. Now, if you hit Control S and you have not actually saved your drawing file to a particular file, okay, I'm going to click on Documents, and I'm going to save this to Class 07. All right, so now if I'm drawing along, I copy this, boom, and I hit Control Save. Now I've saved my work. It didn't take but a heartbeat and everything is good. So if I lose everything sits down, it's all good. All right. So That's a few hotkeys you guys need to understand. That's going to be F3, F7, F8, and F9. All right, understand what those are. And then Control S is another shortcut key to save. That's equivalent to typing in save or Q save. Means quick save. All right. If you type in save, it's going to prompt you for a file name. So Q save doesn't prompt you for the file name, even though you've already named it. All right. Okay. Now we've reviewed that. We're going to talk about a few of the commands we've kind of gone through. We've gone through the P-line command. P-line command is if you want all your segments to be kind of connected together. Okay, so this is one shape right here. If I do that with the line command, and I've come over here, draw, 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 and then close, these are all individual segments. Okay, this gives you some flexibility and some ability to do things here as well. The difference between like on a line segment and a P line is notice you have a midpoint here. If I stretch this from the midpoint here up, the other lines come with it. If I do it from here, I'm doing the move command. I'm actually just moving that line up. And then I would have to actually stretch these up here. I'd have to come up here and click. Now, right now, I'm not running any commands. I'm just using grip edits. Okay, just by picking the grips and actually putting them where I want them to be. You can use grip edits off and on, and they're kind of a feature that's pretty handy quite a bit, and I highly recommend you get familiar with them. Okay, so if you're going to do multiple grip edits at a time, so if I undo back a little bit, and I wanted to move both of these up at the same time, I could highlight both of these and then I can hold down the shift key and pick here, and then the shift key and pick here. Now I've grabbed my 2 points that I want to work with. Now I pick one of them and I take it and I move it up to the endpoint of here. And that moves both of those at the same time. You can do lots of different things with grips and the shift to add points. All right. So there's a little bit of that. Okay. Zoom. The zoom command is a command you're going to use a lot because you'll use the scroll wheel on your mouse to scroll in and out. Okay, if you roll it forward, it zooms in. You scroll it back, it zooms out. If you press and hold the mouse wheel, it will allow you, put you in pan mode. You can actually just kind of move the content on the screen around. You're not actually moving the objects, you're moving your screen just to the location of those objects in a little bit different way. You're moving your view, so to speak. Okay, now if you want to see just what's in the drawing, you can type in zoom and then hit E for extents and hit enter. It will zoom to the extents of your drawing. It'll do the max X and the max Y and the min X and the min Y. Okay, so, and that'll actually center that on the screen. Even though there's room over here to fit this over here and a little room to fit this over here, the screen is a different size. So it actually centers to the center so that it can actually get all the components inside the screen. So understand that difference between it zooming everything in. If you draw a perfect box to match your screen's ratio, it'll zoom that to the exact edge of the screen. I'm not going to worry about trying to figure that out right now. Okay. Let's talk about the fillet command. Let's see if we, let's see, undo a little bit back. Boom. If I wanted to fillet these, I want these to join up with these up here. I can use the fillet command. F-I-L-L-E-T. Okay, the shortcut for that is typically F. I can hit there. I can hit right click and then hit here and here. Now, often something that you want to know as well is spacebar is a return. When you do a return after you've executed a command, it hits enter and starts that same command again. So if you notice now I hit spacebar and now I'm back in the fillet command. I hit spacebar again and it just drops me out. I hit spacebar again, starts the last command that I was using. So let's try that. I'll run the line command, boom, to here. Now, if I hit spacebar, it starts me back in the line command. Now, another benefit of when you're drawing things, the last point you used when you start into the line or arc or P-line command, it will start from that same point that you ended on if you just hit enter. So at this point, instead of specifying point, if I just hit spacebar or hit enter, it starts me off at the last point I was drawing. It kind of gives me a little quick shortcut to get to that point, and I don't have to worry about thinking about it. All right. So again, if I do that and I hit enter, I end that command. I talk the ARC for the arc command, and if I hit enter, it starts me off from that exact point. And if I do P-line and I do enter, it starts me from that same point again, and then I can go to endpoint of here. All right. Now, since we've drawn this odd shape here, and say we want that to all be one shape. See, I've got a line, an arc, and I've got a P line, and then I've got another line. If I want all these to be one object, one entity, I can use the P edit command. I can pick any of these. If it's a line or an arc, it's going to ask me, hey, this is not a P line. Do you want to turn it into one? I say yes. And then I can use the join command, J, And then I can highlight, I can pick, I can do crossing, I can do however I need to get these selections going, and then I can hit enter. And now they're joined, but I'm still in the edit command. So I'm going to hit enter to end that command. And now this is one object. So I can grab it, move it, all is one big object. All right. A lot of different things you can do with that. We've also talked about the offset command. Okay. So if I wanted to create a duplicate shape of this, but smaller on the inside or smaller on the outside, I can use the offset command, OFFSET. Let's pick our distance that we want to offset. Say I'm just going to pick here and I have snap on, so that's there. If I want to go to the outside, I pick the object and then I drag to the direction I want to go. I move the cursor either on the outside or the inside of the object or the side. If it was just one line, I would move one side to the other and it would actually offset in that direction. Now with a P line, it actually scales all the objects to go out. Now I can continue to do this, and I can continue to do this, and I can continue to do this, or I can go from the inside and continue to do this. Now, if you notice what happens when it starts to get too small in here, it will start distorting the shape. So now there's no longer an arc in there. It's doing the best it can to do it. Now it can no longer offset in, so it's not able to do that anymore. All right, so that's the offset command. And let's erase some of those. I'm not interested in all that. Good. All right, so that shows you what that does. Let's scooch that up. Now, if it was just a line and I offset it, there's no other points or anything to do. So if I offset the line, they're going to be exactly parallel lines just going down the way. The offset command is really useful for when you're trying to build something and you want to know, you want to get to a particular point in something, and you're like, hey, I'd like this, like say you have a wall. Let's draw a wall here, or just something here. Let's draw this to here and this to here. And we know we want to be like 0.375 inches away from here over to here. I could either offset this line here, offset 0.375, offset 0.375. I can offset it, boom. All right, that's a P line I drew, so that's not going to be very helpful, but I do have the distance that I need right there. I'm going to erase that. I'm going to explode this. If you explode a polyline, it becomes just plain lines. Line and line. Okay, that's the explode command. Typically, you're not going to use the explode command, but it is there to explode things and create parts out of major objects. Okay, so I'm going to offset this now. Let's go 0.75. And so now I know where that is from 0.75. I can draw my line from EMD point of F9 here, and now I'm drawing from that point. So I have that exact point that I wanted to draw from. And then I can erase this as kind of a construction line. Now there are construction lines you can draw as well. We're not going to get into that particular feature at this time. Okay. We've done fillet and now trim. All right. So if you have lines and things like that come in here and they cross across here, and you just want these lines to be on the inside, not the outside, you can type in the trim command. All right. Pick the object that you want to, when you do the trim, you pick the object that is the cutting edge, and then you hit enter. And now, what do you want to cut with that edge? I want to cut this, and I want to cut this. Now, I'm going to undo that and undo that. Now, I could also, that's the help, I could also do trim by picking here, the cutting edges, hitting enter, and then I could do a crossing across here as well. If I do a window across, it's not going to do any good, but I can do a crossing here, all right? Because I did a C for crossing, so it overrides any left, right, right, left motion. Again, if you're doing a window, it's from right to left. If you're doing a crossing, it's left to right. I'm sorry, right to left. I did that just backwards. Window is left to right, and crossing is right to left. Okay. Now erase. Erase allows us to pick objects. Okay. Once you understand how the selection process works. Now you have verb, noun, and noun verb commands. AutoCAD was traditionally a verb noun system. That meant you typed in what you wanted to do, the verb. So if I wanted to erase, and then you select what you want to erase, the nouns. Okay. If I wanted to erase all these, boom, then I'm done. Hit enter, I'm done. Okay. I'm going to oops that back. That's a oops brings back whatever you last erased. Okay. So since I erased all those objects last, it's going to bring every one of those back for me. It's not undo, but it's kind of like undo. It's a kind of controlled specific thing that it kind of undoes for you. All right. So you also have the F2 command. Okay, that's another shortcut key. F2 allows you to actually view your history that you've been going through. Okay, you kind of get an idea of what's here and what's there and everything else. All right. So if you
Did
hit
you say F2?
F2, yes, sir, the function key 2. All right. Excellent. Now, where was I going? I was about to go somewhere with that particular aspect of that. Let's go ahead and go for, all right, stretch. Stretch is extremely useful. Stretch is best when done with a crossing, okay? If I want to make these two objects taller, or if I wanted to make them the same height, like say this one's a little bit taller than this one, and I want to make the same height, I pick here and I drag across here for a crossing, and then I hit enter. See, I've grabbed those endpoints. That's the things I'm actually moving. I'm going to move this whole line and these endpoints of these lines with it. And I'm going to say from mid or anywhere on that line. And now I want to go to the same height as this. Okay, if I turn on F8, I'm good. Okay, it locks me in to going this way or this way or this way. So I want to be at the same height of this. I can do this a couple of different ways. The easiest way is type in PER for perpendicular, and then I pick over on this line, even though it shows my stuff dragging here, but as soon as I pick there, you'll see the green symbol that pops up over here when I say perpendicular. Hopefully you can see that particular symbol. And now if I pick, it means that's the point it's going to give me. So it's going to stretch that object up to that point. Boom. And they're the same height. Okay, they're exact same height. All right, so if I wanted to make these wider, I could do the same thing. STRETCH. I could grab here, and I could actually extend this one from here to here using the same thing. I can say near here, and then to perpendicular to this line here. If I hit perpendicular here, it's going to stretch it up to this point. I hit perpendicular here, and it's going to keep it on this line right here with that one, because give me a perpendicular point to that point. So there it is. So now that's the same width as that particular thing. Now, using point filters. Say I wanted this point here, this corner here, to match the corner of this one. I could use a stretch command, and I could use crossing. I got everything I want to stretch over, and I can go from the end point of here. Now, this one's a little trickier. I can't use perpendicular because it's not a perpendicular line, but I can use a point filter. I just want to lock it in on the Y coordinate of that point. So I can type in point Y, which is a point filter, and I can say END point of this. I could also have used intersection. Okay, now I screwed up. I did point Y, so I'm stretching it up. Okay, so now I'm going to say point X of INT of here. I'm going to kind of fix this. Okay, I'm going to say point YZ. Actually, I'm just going to pick Y of there and then Z of there. Okay, and now it's all the same. I did that a little screwy. I'm going to back that up so we can kind of see how to do that correctly. I'm going to highlight. I'm going to type in the stretch command. I'm going to do my crossing across here. I'm going to go from endpoint of here, and I'm going to do the point X. My bad. X is the going this way, and Y is up and down. Okay, I did point X. Now I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to hit END point of here. Again, I could use intersection, and then just drag this direction. Now I can drag because it's kind of locked in to the Y value, and the Z is locked in because it's just the elevation that I'm actually currently drawing on. And I can just pick. All right. I could have also used at 0, 0, 0. Okay. That's kind of a quick review of some of the things we've kind of run through. The selection process, when you're prompted, when you're using the verb noun, you select your entities after you type in the verb. Like you want to erase, and then you select. You want to move, you select. You want to stretch, you select with the crossing, boom, and then you pick and pick. You pick provide points. Okay, if you're going to mirror, same thing, you select, you pick a mirror line. So my mirror line's here. I'm actually drawing a mirror. Picture me putting a mirror between the two, and that's what it's going to give me there. All right, so that gives me an identical on the opposite side mirrored. All right, that's the mirror command. And that's kind of how you kind of go through some of the processes you want to understand. Selection set processing. Okay, getting a selection set. If you highlight things like this, nothing's active. Now I'm in noun verb. I've highlighted the objects and I hit M for move. It's going to take that selection set. Now it's just looking for a base point and another point. Okay, so that's noun verb. You're going to find yourself operating in multiple different ways. If I highlight here and I want to delete, I hit the delete key and I'm done. That's noun verb. All right. I'm going to undo that with the U command. Okay. Now that's different from the oops command because I undid my action. Now, if I zoom and zoom and zoom and zoom, all those are actions. So if I do the U command, you'll notice that I just changed, well, actually, I guess I changed that up. It used to actually undo would actually undo each of your zooms as well, but apparently they've modify that to where it doesn't affect that, but zoom still counts as a command if you're doing things. Okay, redo. See, now I'm kind of hosed on that because I can't redo that. All right, so you also have a command called the undo command. There's the U command, which is undo 1. There's also undo as well. So if I type in undo and I say B for back, that means back until it finds the first marker that I set. I didn't set a marker, so that's going to go all the way to the beginning of my drawing. It's going to tell me that. It says, hey, this will undo everything. Are you sure? Yes, I am. Boom, now everything's done. And I suddenly realized, oh shit, I screwed up. I shouldn't use that word. Redo, okay? If it's the last thing you did was undo, redo will put it right back to where you started from. But if you zoom or anything like that, then you're hosed and it will not. All right, because the last thing you do had to have been an undo for redo to actually work. Okay, I think we've kind of done a pretty good review there. We're going to create some blocks today. All right. Now, blocks are extremely useful for repetitive things that you end up using. All right. Today, we're going to draw a switch symbol. Okay. A switch symbol looks something like this. I'm just going to sketch it up here for you. Okay. It looks something like this. I'm going to copy that over here. Looks like this. And then the line from, say, QA of here to TA N of, oops, TAN of here. But it kind of looks like this. Okay, a switch can go up and down and close. This is a closed switch. If I was to make an open switch, it would look something like this. I would rotate this where it's no longer there or it no longer makes contact. So I'll just drag that up a little bit, and that's something like a switch would look like. Okay, now these are wiring diagram or schematics switches that we're kind of talking about here. These are not the kinds that you would actually see in your walls, but they are representative of something that you would see in your wall. Okay, all right. So we're going to do that. We're going to create a block for that because you want a block to be able to be used and you want it to be friendly for what you're trying to actually make happen and get things to go. Hold on here. Uh-oh. No, no. Okay. Okay. Brandon just asked a good question. How do you turn the right click into enter? Okay. Go into options. Okay. If you go over to user preferences, okay, and you'll see right click customization. You have double click editing and shortcut menus in drawing area. That's fine. Click on customization here, and then you'll see this pops up right here. All right. So by default, if you do I have time sensitive on here. Okay. It's a quick click for enter is with this. You want to make sure this is on 250 milliseconds. It's fine. And you can do shortcut menu here. Now in edit mode, if anything are selected, it's going to bring up the shortcut menu for me. Okay. So let's look at how that works. So if I have something selected and I right click, it's going to pop up this menu and I can do things with this. I can do select similar and it'll actually give me a highlight of those type of things. Okay. If I click on here and I right click here, it gives me things that are specific to a circle or generic. Okay. I can scale, move, copy, do a variety of different things here. If it's a block or something like that, you'll see other things. You'll have properties that you mess with. So that's kind of how you do that. If nothing is selected, you right click, it's just enter. Okay. So if I do a line, boom, boom. Now enter here, right click, stops the command, right click again and right click again, and it just starts being that line command again. All right, we're gonna get back on track for creating a block. Now, some things you want to think about on your when you're creating blocks. You want to understand how the blocks are used and in the space and the size that they're going to be needed to be in. Now, when you're working on a D-size drawing, let's draw a border real quick. I'm going to draw a P line from 0, to at 36 at 0 degrees. And I'm going to say at 24 at 90 degrees, at 36 at 180 degrees, and close. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? All right, here's my border. I drew this really large switch. I'm going to erase these. Boom. And those do make sense. Now this would be my D-size border. You'd want these to be in here. Now, typically our text is 8-inch text, 0.125 text. So let's draw a piece of text. I'm going to type in the style command and I'm going to create a style. I'm going to call new and I'm going to call it body text. And I'm going to set this to 0.125. Now, if you leave it at 0.0, or your text height is 0, it will prompt you when you're in the text command to select the height. I'm going to override that and put in a value, hard code the value here, and it's going to be, now it won't prompt me for a height. So now if I type in text and I draw a piece of text and I'll just type in switch. Now, again, you want to make sure your caps lock is on, because most of your stuff is going to be in caps. Oh, if you read, you pay attention, it's asking me for rotation. I need to pick my rotation and then type in my text. All right, so you can see how big that text is going to be in the middle of a D-size drawing. Keep in mind, this is 36 inches and this is 24 inches. This is not an 8.5 by 11. So if I move this up here, over here, and again, let's offset to get our margin. I'll offset 1 inch. That way we're working inside of a margined area, and that way we have a little bit of a border around our drawing. Okay, so a good size for this, a circle. Let's draw a circle, and I'm going to turn on snap. I hit an F9, but I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wow, that's going to be a big circle. Snap is kind of killing me here, so I'm going to adjust my snap features. I'm going to set my snap to 0.0625. All right, so that kind of gives you a good idea of what size a good circle would be. If I type in circle and I pick and I pick, okay. Now keep in mind this is a 0.0625 circle, but it's from the middle. So if I move this from here, I'm good. All right, move it from here. Yeah, actually, I did 0.125. This 0.125 circle. So let's stick with that. That's actually kind of nice for what we're trying to do. And you notice that all the quadrants hit on the snap points. That's really useful if I'm going to be drawing a line from it. So it allows us to draw our second circle. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to kind of scooch over. We want something to be a little bit, long enough. Now, if you look at the word switch, that's about how long we want that to be. So I'm going to pick right here. That's not a bad length. That's 0.5625. And I tell you what, that's kind of an odd measurement. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to say 0.5. So if you look how far I'm dragging, I'm going to turn ortho on, and you can see it says 0.5 in 0 degrees. I'm going to use that. That's not a bad distance. And now I'm going to draw a line. I can draw the line from the center of here to the tangent of this circle here. All right, and it kind of connects here. I could trim this off, but you typically want your line to extend a little bit past. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line from the quadrant. Actually, I don't have to type in quadrant, and I can just pick here and here. And now I'm going to extend this line to here. What's nice about this is that line never goes inside that circle because I drew it to the tangent of the circle. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this off here. All right, and then I'm going to erase this, and now I have a good looking switch. All right, so now when I'm drawing the direction of my switch, I want it to go the direction I draw. What's nice about the way I drew this is it's already set up for that purpose. So we're going to create a block. I'm going to type in BLOCK, and it's going to pop up this dialog box. All right, it asks you for a name. I'm going to say switch dash NC for normally closed. Okay, little brief thing there. Normally closed means that at shelf, if nothing has happened, this is how it was delivered. It's going to be closed. Okay. All right. So I'm going to specify my point. I'm going to pick my point, and I want it to be right here. Okay. Now I'm going to select my objects. I'm going to highlight my objects with a window or crossing or just individual picks, however I wanted to do it. Pick. Now it's going to ask me what I want to do. Do I want to allow exploding? Typically, you don't want exploding in your blocks, but that's also kind of a pain if you do want to do something. Say you wanted to build something else so that you can't explode it. Okay. For now, I'm going to leave that off. Okay. Now it's going to convert this to a block for me. The units are inches because my drawing currently is inches. And so it's going to stick with all that. And that's actually really good. I'm going to pick OK. There's an option here to open in block editor. We're going to leave that alone for right now. Pick OK. Now this is a block. Now, if I pick it and I move it, I move from here, it moves with me. All right. So now I want to insert this somewhere else. So I can type in the insert command. Now the insert command pops up this particular dialog box. All right. Now, if I look at the current drawing, click on the current drawing, I have a switch in here. It's normally closed. I can pick that, and then I can it allows me to place it. I can move this out of the way, and then I can place it anywhere I want. Now, if you notice, I pick it here, and it automatically goes to a 0 rotation because that was preset down in here. I'm not prompting for it. Okay, if it's checked, it prompts for it. If it's not checked, it does not. So let's set that rotation here, and now it's going to prompt me for a rotation. So if I pick, now if you notice, the direction I drag is the direction the switch actually goes. So if I wanted this to be in the vertical arrangement, I could click there, or I could click down. Either way, the wires flow, then and the direction flows. So I could go here. So I'm going to move this from here down to here. Now, if I draw lines between all these, say this goes to my power, I'm good. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to connect this, and I'm going to come over here. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to move this one down to be on the same wire way with it, or wire with it. Now I can also P line from here, come down here, F8 on, come over here, come down here, and then I could also go from here down and then back here. All right. Now, if you notice, since I have snap on, it is hitting the exact spots on that circle that I want it to hit. Okay, there's no little thing sticking over or anything like that. So let's do this without ortho or without snap on, and I'm just going to draw lines. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to kind of pick it there, draw down here, and then I'm going to come over here and here, and then I'm going to come over here and kind of see what I'm going to line it up with what I think is good, and then I'm going to pick up here. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here, come back down, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to come to about what I think is the center, and I'm going to click here. Now, if I zoom in on all those that I just did, you can see how sloppy this is. This is crap. Okay, I will not be anything other about that. This is crap. Do not do this. This is wretched, and you can see how inaccurate it is. All right, so that's why you want to use Snap, or you want to actually type in your O snaps. Snap will help you a lot better on that particular aspect of it because it's a lot cleaner. All right. Okay. That is drawing and creating a block. Now, let's create another copy of this block that is normally open. Okay, I'm going to move this up, and I'm going to hit escape because I want it to be on snap. So I'm going to pick it, and then I hit F snap, F9, and then I'm going to pick my point because snap is on, pick, I drag it up. All right, so to open this, all I have to do is rotate this line, but it's a block right now, so I'm going to explode it to break it back into pieces. All right, so now I'm going to rotate this, RO, from the center of here, and I'm just going to drag across here, and oops, I messed that up. RO from center of here. All right, and I'm just going to step up. I'm going to hit F8. Oh, I highlighted the circle too. RO. Oh, my bad. Explode. I unexploded. My bad. Okay, RO. That. Why is it not exploding? Oh, all right. We're going to go into the block command because I accidentally set it to not explode. So I'm going to edit it, go in the block definition. I'm going to open it up and turn off make it where it can be exploded. Okay, where it says allow exploding, I'm going to set that to yes. All right, and then I'm going to be closed to get out of it. Yes. All right, now I can explode this. Now RO, that from center of here, and I can kind of drag it up. And I don't have to drag it up a whole lot. I can just drag it up a little bit, and that's good. That shows that it's open. All right, so we're going to create another block and allow exploding. I'm going to toggle that on. That was my bad before I toggled it off. Okay, and I'm going to pick this name here, but then I'm just going to backspace and hit normally open. Oh, all right. I'm going to pick my point, which is the same quadrant right there. Had snap on, so I didn't have to type in any O snaps or anything similar to that effect. All right, convert to block is good. Let's select my objects here, and I'm good to go. I'm going to let it convert it back to a block, and we are good. All right, so now we can have multiple switches in our circuit. Okay, I can come down here, place it there. And what's nice about it is it's on snap. So I can use the break command, break. I can pick the line I want to break, and then I hit F for first. And I can go here and then over to here, and it breaks that line out. So now my switch looks like it's supposed to be there. Okay, so that's the benefit of blocks. Now, another benefit is like we come in and like, hey, the guy says those circles are way too big and I don't like them. Okay, so like I want them a little smaller. I want them to be, the distance is good, but I want those to be smaller circles. So great, they're blocks. So I can modify the block definition itself. I'm going to open the normally closed one, and I'm going to change the scale of this. Okay, I'm going to click on it, the circle, and I'm going to say instead of a diameter 0.125, I'm going to say 0.09375. Okay, so it's a little bit smaller. I'm going to do the same thing for this. 0.09375. I could have modified the radius or the diameters. What's nice about that. Now I need to move this over just a little bit. Need to go from that quadrant. So I'm going to turn off F9, that quadrant, QUA of here to 0, 0. Because I'm going to put it back to where it was. All right, now this needs to extend to here because the center is actually moved on this circle. So this is no longer valid to that spot. So I'm going to click here, go to the center of this circle. And then I need to actually fix this. So it actually comes to the tangent of this, TAN of this. Okay, I need to move this out to maintain the same length that I had before. To do that, I'm going to draw a line from quadrant of here. I'm going to draw it up, and it was a 1/2 inch before. So I'm going to say offset 0.5. I'm going to click here and here. I guess it wasn't 0.5. What was it before? Oh, it was 0.75. It was 0.75. My bad. All right. Offset 0.75. It was not 0.75. It must have been, I don't know what distance I had before. Okay. So I'm going to move it over 0.03125. All right. 0.03125. That's the distance. Actually, I kind of shrunk it down by. All right. Now I'm going to extend this. I'm going to just move it to the tangent of that circle. Boom. And now I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to draw a line from the quadrant up here, up, and then I'm going to extend it. All right. Now I'm going to erase this. And now I'm going to erase this other line as well. And I need to trim this out. And now my block is modified. It's got smaller circles on it. Now I'm going to do B close to save that and save my changes. Now, I didn't get my length quite right. I need to bring it in just a little bit more, but you can see it's actually updated all the circles in that one block. The one block that's normally open, I did not actually have that correct. I still have to fix that one. All right, so we can get my distance. Let's find out what that distance is. We need to scooch over. I'm going to type in distance from QUA of here to END point of here. I need to take that distance out, which is 0.05625. Okay, so I'm going to edit this again. Update that. Because I don't want to go back and redo all my line work. That's why I want this to maintain a particular distance. So I'm going to move this from here, 0.0012625. Is that what it was? I think that's what it was, right?
I think so. I know the 6.5 sounds. I don't. Was it 0.1265?
0.03125. I think that's what it was. Yeah. 0.01625. That's what it was. All right, beautiful. Now I need to extend this down. I need to take this back to the tangent so it actually works. TAN of here, and then I need to extend it out to a line up here. So I'm going to do UA here, going through the same processes that I went to create the block originally. But the beauty is I don't have to go back and update all those other blocks. So I'd be closed and I'm done. And then what did I do here? I went the wrong way, didn't I? I sure did. My God. Okay. You had it. So now I'm going to go 0.03125. All right. I moved the wrong way. Move 0.03125. Boom, this way. All right. Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to take this again, move it to the tangent. The other end is not moved as far as the center point goes. So I should be good with that. Actually, I probably should go ahead and take this back to center here, and then I'll trim it again. And now I'm going to line from END point of QUA, not end, QA of here, extend, boom. What's beautiful about this is you guys are seeing me exercise lots of the commands that we need to use. Trim, highlight this, and pick. All right, now be close. Save changes. What am I? Oh my God, I'm going the wrong direction. Completely the wrong direction. I was supposed to be shrinking. I took my distance going in, and that's why I thought I was going backwards. Be edit. So let's get my distance that I need to be right now. Okay, so I'm going to say distance from QA of here to the end point. And you see how things get turned around on you, you're just not paying attention. I want to go to this end point. It's 0.0625 or it's 0.625. So it's, so there's what we're gonna do. So I'm going to be edit and clicking in the normally closed, boom. And I'm going to draw a line from QA of here up. I'm going to offset 0.625. here to here. And now I need to bring this circle from here to there. So I'm going to do a move from QUA of here to PER to here. All right. And since I'm going to use this line anyway to trim that off, I'm good to go. So I'm going to actually take this to the center of this, and I'm going to take this to the quadrant of this. And then I'm going to extend, escape, extend, extend this there. Raise, trim, boom, and B close. Yeah, a lot of effort there went into that, but what I like about it is you guys get to see me go through quite a few iterations of using the trim, extend, and move, and a variety of different commands there. Now, to do this one here, we know that distance is 0.625. We know we can reduce this to 0.09375. We can do the same thing here. Now, we can do this a couple of different ways. We can grab this one, explode it, and just trim it and overwrite this block, or we can go in this block and just redo it. I kind of like this block the way it is, so I'm going to actually update this one with a B edit. Open it. I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to pick, and then I'm going to change these to a 0.09375 diameter, 0.09375. Not 0.09375, 0.9375. Yeah, 0.09375. All right, boom. And then I'm going to take this one from here down to center of here. Now I'm going to do a line from QUA of here up, and I'm going to move this from QUA of here to 0, 0. I want to keep that back where it was. All right. This one's going to stay there, but I'm going to move it based on this offset here. I'm going to take offset 0.625. That's the width we're going with. Boom. Now I know I need to move this that way. Move from QUA of here to E&D point of here. And what I can do is I can just extend this out to here. Extend that to there, and erase that and that. Be close. And now our switch is fine. I did not trim out the line, so I needed to go back and fix that. The edit, click OK, trim, be closed. Now you're thinking, well, that's not that big of a deal. But if you have this switch in this drawing and 15 other drawings and things like that, it is much easier to update one block and then have it update all those other occurrences of that block. Now, when you're updating in other drawings, there's a few extra steps you have to go through to make that happen, but it is a lot easier to actually do that than it is to try and redo all those things. Because these things are exploded. You actually wanted to go back and make all the same manipulations. You can make the manipulations, or you can go back and copy, paste, remove, and things like that. Okay, so now we've done that. We've kind of had some fun there. Now I want to get into the segment that I know Liam will enjoy, because we talked about the fact that to add some engagement and some fun, and here we're going to do a little bit of 3D in every class now. All right, now since we just learned blocks, I want to kind of go with a block. And since I'm going to do a little play on the word block, and I'm going to make a block with a block. Okay, so what am I going to be able to do that? So let's draw a P line box. I'm going to start from 0, 0, 0, and I'm going to go this way 1. I'm going to go up 1. I'm going to go back 1 and close block 1. Boom. So now we have a square. To make it a block, all I do is extrude this 1. And now I have a cube or a block. All right, so we have our block here. My insertion point is down here. All right, and I'm good with that. So I'm like, okay, let's stick with that. Let's make this a block. I'm going to type in block, and I'm going to call this 3D wood. All right, wood. All right, I'm going to pick my point is 0, 0. I'm going to select my objects here. Boom, and I'm done. All right, I'm good with that. Convert it to a block, allow exploding. It doesn't really matter based on what I'm about to use it for. Okay, so I now have a block. What can I do with this block? Well, it's kind of just a cube. I could build a bunch of things with it, like a cubert thing. I could build some Lego walls here or whatever. But blocks offer a really unique feature. You can have X, Y, and Z scaling. If you see this over here, you have X, Y, and Z scaling. So let's turn this into a 2x4. Okay, so we'll say my X is 2, my Y is 4, and my Z, let's make my Z 120. So now that is a 10-foot long 2x4. All right, so what can we do with a 10-foot long 2x4? Well, we can build walls. So let's use the array command. I'm going to type in -A That's the array command. I'm going to select my object, pick here, and I'm going to say rectangular, and I'm going to say, remember rows 1, because I just want it to go in a line. I'm going to say columns. I want to have 12 of these, okay? And I want them 16 inches apart. Boom. Now I have a wall of 2x4s. So I need more walls. Let's go down here. Let's copy this down about 176 inches. Okay. And let's copy previous. We use the P option there. So when you've selected something and you want to select it again, you can use the P for previous. I'm going to hit enter. I'm copying it and I'm going to just drag it up here. All right. Now I'm going to rotate these. RO. Boom. And I'm going to rotate them from the endpoint of here. Boom. And I'm going to put them right there. Now I'm going to move these from the endpoint of, let's go to the endpoint of here to the endpoint of here. All right. So now I have these on here. I'm going to copy previous from here. I'm going to go this way, 176. Yeah, that works out. Okay, right? Nope, does not work out. I need to move those. So I'm going to go back to plan view and type in PLAN plan. Now, this wall here needs to move over a little bit. Move. I'm going to actually just cheat a crossing in here. I only selected the ones I want to move, and I'm going to move them from, I know that's 4 inches and that's 2 inches, so I'm going to go from here, and I'm just going to pick a spot, and I'm going to type in 6 to go that direction. Now they're moved over there. Now I know I need a double set on here, so I'm going to copy this from here. I'm going to go up 2 inches. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to do the same thing here. Copy this one here to 2 inches. So I'm filling in those corners there to make sure I have a nice sturdy corner. Copy this from here, 2 inches. And this is a rough wall we're drawing here. Copy this from here, 2 inches. All right. So now if I click on my isometric view on my nav cube, I can see I have my wall. All right. Or my walls. Now, these are 3D blocks, or this is a scaled X, Y, and Z scaled block, so you cannot explode it. So you would not be able to chop out windows or anything out of this, but you could shrink some of them down and then add some additionals above it. All right, but let's put the top plates and the bottom plates on this first. So we're going to learn a new command today. I'm going to copy one of these 2x4s. I'm going to just drag it right out here. Okay, and I'm going to type in 3D rotate. Now, 3D rotate only works when you're in an isometric or a 3D view that actually you can see something other than just X, Y. So I'm going to click on it, and it's going to pop up this little circular orbit looking thing. This gives you a couple of different axes. It gives you an X axis, a Y axis, and a Z axis to rotate this on. I want this to flow over this way. So I'm going to click this green axis, and I'm going to say 90 degrees. And now it's now horizontal and perpendicular to the other 2x4s. So I can move this from the INS of move this from INS S, which stands for insertion point. Oh, from INS, if I can type of here, and I'm going to move it to END point of here. So now it's the top plate on there. I need to make it a little bit longer. Okay, so we know that the Z controls the length of the 2x4. Okay, so if I pick on that, I need to modify the Z. Okay, so 176, I think it's 186 inches. Boom. And now we got our top plate there. Okay, so now I can copy this from here over here, 176 plus 12, so it was 182. Oh, I missed. All right, well, then you move back, boom, from END point of here to the END point of here. All right, so we have the top plate there. Now I can copy. Now I can just type in copy. C for copy. Pick it, drag it out here, rotate it. Now this is just a regular rotate, so I want to use the endpoint, a point on that thing, and rotate it. Now I'm going to move this from here because I think this is actually where the insert point is, so we're good to go there. So I'm going to move that to the END point of here. All right. So we look down here, we're like, wow, it's too long, so I need to subtract some of it. So we can just get that distance from END point of here, and I want to bring it back to the end point of this, of here, and that is 14 inches. So I need to click on this and subtract 14 inches from here. That takes us down to the 172. Okay, and here we are. We got that. Now I could copy this over here, or I can actually use the mirror command. I can type in MI. Now I want you to notice something about the mirror command when you're in 3D. And I type in mid of here. Notice where it goes. Notice where that line is. It's not on the top plate. It's on the location where I was at. Now, I apparently picked the wrong mid, is what it looks like. I didn't pick the mid of the, looks like I picked the mid of one of these, is what I ended up doing. So I'm gonna mirror this from mid of, I'm gonna pick in here so I get the midpoint. All right, but it goes to the elevation you're at. If you are way up here and you're zoomed in, you're like, there's no mirror line. What am I doing? What am I doing? You won't be able to see it. So understand that the mirror line goes to the current elevation that you're actually at. I'm gonna pick here and I'm done. Now I have my top plates. Now I can actually copy previous. Oh, I didn't hit yes, my bad. Mirror, boom, from mid here. Always complete your mirror command. It's asking you, do you want to erase this stuff? If I escape out or whatever, then it cancels, which is what I did. So I'm gonna say enter for no. So I kept that. I'm gonna say copy previous and last, and then I'm gonna pick this and this from E and D point of. I'm gonna pick the top because I want the top of that to go to the bottom of this of here. So now we have our 2x4 wall built out of 2x4s. All right. Now you could also count all your 2x4s just by highlighting that. And you see you have 62 2x4s. Okay, some of them are 10 feet and some of them are 12 feet. So you'd have to actually figure that out. You can actually figure that out by highlighting just the ones that have the 120, and those are 10 foot. And so you can actually go through a few things here to kind of make that happen. So you have these that are 186 feet, 186 inches. So these are longer than 12 feet. All right. But these are all regular 2x4s, and you can actually say right click, select similar, see if that works. That's going to select them all, but you could actually go into quick select here and then select just the ones that have a Z elevate or Z of 120. So you can actually click block reference. You can scroll down a little bit, say scale equals Z, and you can say equals 120 and include in a new selection set. Boom. And now I know I have 52 2x4s that are 10 feet long. And then I could count these other ones for. I have 8 that are longer than that, or I'd end up just getting a few extra 2x4s to fill in those additional spots. All right, now, so we have a few more minutes. So how would we put in a window in here? Now, keep in mind this block thing that I've taught you with the X, Y, and Z scaling is a hack. Okay, it does work. It's really efficient at it. And what's nice about it is space savings. This is not a very big file. If I save this, even though it's 3D objects, it's all blocks. It's actually just one block definition of 1 by 1, and then it's the block inserts. They're all there. So it's not going to be a very big file. So I'll save as, and we'll save this as class 07 wood. Okay, boom. And if I type in xref, we'll get an xref later. Xref shows me the size of my file is 54.9 kilobytes. All right. So if I was to actually draw this out in solids, this would probably be well over 100 kilobytes easily. Okay, because these solids would take up a lot more space than just the one that I've actually drawn. This is essentially just one little point referencing all these items in here. Okay, so going back to what we were talking about, I'm going to close out xref, so I don't need that. And we're going to cut in a window or a door. Okay, I could just erase a couple here and then put a door in here. I could shift these over a little bit and put a door in here. That wouldn't be a big deal. Then I could draw another header in here. But let's talk about a window because that's a little bit more complicated. First, I need to do is I need to shorten these up. So let's take those down to about 36 inches. Boom. So now I have those. They're reduced down there. I need to create a smaller one of these to be the top plate here. All right. So I can put that there. I can click on here and I can say, what's my distance between here and here? Distance from E and D point of here and E and D point of here. I'm getting a distance, it's 46 inches. So I want this to be 46 inches. I want to remember the Z controls the length, 46. When you make your block, you have to understand what's going to be what. The 2 and the 4 don't really make a whole lot of difference, so we're all good there. So I'm going to move this now from E and D point of here. But that doesn't go to here. I want to go to the, now if you look here, I have the X and you have the Y over here. I want to go to the X value of this. So I'm going to say point X of E and D point of here. But I want the Z of this right here. All right. And the Y of that's right there. So I'm going to say int of that. Notice int doesn't work because there's not an actual intersection there. There's an endpoint. So I'm going to pick, and it's going to say that didn't work. I'm going to say point X again of E and D point of here, and I'm gonna say E and D point of here, because it's gonna set those Z values there. Now I can just copy this up, the height of my window, say it's 3 feet as well. I'll copy that up 36 inches. Boom. Oops, not that direction. Notice what happened was I was actually dragging this direction and it put it that way. I'm gonna say U for undo that copy. Now, if you look at the center where it says ortho, it says 30, 30, and it says Z. If you're on the Y, it doesn't show you. Or if you're on the X, it doesn't show you. It just says the direction you're going. But in Z, it actually shows you the Z. So make sure you're dragging in the Z direction. I type in 36 and it will put a copy of that right there. So now I can copy these up from here. I can go from here and D of here to point Z of E and D point of here. Boom. Oh, damn it. Undo that. My bad. Erase. All right. And copy this from E and D point of here to, I can actually just, since I use that same plane right here, I can just do E and D point of here. Boom. And now I just need to make these a little bit taller. How tall do I need to make them? I can go distance from E and D point of here to E and D point of here. Now, only distance I'm interested in is my Z elevation. I don't care about the X. I don't care about the Y. I don't actually care about the full distance here. I want this dimension here. So I click here and I click here. I look at those at 36 inches long. I need them to be 46 inches long. I type 46 and now I have my window. All right. So now let's take advantage of this and do something a little bit more with it. All right. Let's take this. Say I need a sheetrock or something like that on one of these walls. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to slide it out 4 inches. Boom. I'm going to move it from here to here. And I think this is my insert point. So I need this to be a little bit longer. I'm going to get this distance over here. Distance from E and D point of here to E and D point of here. Again, the only distance I'm looking at on this one is the Y because I'm going this direction. I want the 8 inches. So I'm going to make this 8 inches longer. So that's going to be 180. Boom. All right. So how do we make this a piece of sheetrock? Well, a piece of sheetrock, I know this wall is 10 foot plus 4 inches. So it's 124 inches tall. So now we're a little bit different here. We're not, our Z goes this way, our Y goes this way. So one of these we're going to change. I'm going to change one of these to 0.75. Boom. I'm going to see which one that is. That's not the one I wanted to change to 0.75. So I'm going to change this Y to 0.75. And you can see that skinny's up. What did I do there? My bad. Okay. Oh, I screwed that up. All right. I'm changing the Y to 0.75. If I can type. Boom. Now that skinny's up. Now I'm going to change the X to be my, what was that? 124, 124. Boom. And I screwed that up. So it's not that one. Oh, no, that was Y. 0.75. This one's going to be 124. And the Z is a 180. So now I have a piece of sheetrock that I've made out of that 3D cube. See how versatile that one little block can be for you? You can actually do just about anything you need to do with that to make that happen. And then you can also put these on different layers as well. All right, layer. Let's create wall. Let's say studs. And we can set those to kind of amber looking color there. Boom. And we can select just about everything. We can just right click. Oh, no. Again, select something, then right click, and I'll say select similar. So it's just select all that. And I'm just going to move all that to the studs layer. Okay, but now we have this piece of sheetrock here. We need to move to a different layer. So I'll type in layer and I type in sheetrock. If you can type. And I'm going to set that to a grayish color. Okay, let's go with something like this. Sheetrock color there. All right, and I'm going to set that, and I'm going to set that to, I typed in struds. Okay, that. Now, something else you can do with layers is set the visibility. Okay, so I want to be able to kind of see through this wall a little bit with my X-ray vision. I'm going to type in layer, and I'm going to come over here to transparency. I'm going to set my sheetrock to a transparency level. I'm going to set that to about 65% transparent. And now you can kind of see through it. You can copy that on there. You can put windows in there and do everything else you wanted to do there. So you've built yourself kind of a room. All right, all that with one block that you're manipulating the X, Y, and Z scales on. So it's kind of a fun hack, but it's not something that you're actually going to practically use. But there's definitely some benefits if you actually want to do something with it. All right, guys. Well, I think that kind of wraps everything up. Questions?
I got one.
Okay.
You put it in as an actual 2x4, so 2 inches by 4 inches.
Yeah,
When
I didn't
you're doing
actually.
your actual drawings, do you just put in 2x4 and then everybody else knows that it's a 2x4, or do you have to put in the actual dimensions of a 2x4?
Well, I typically actually don't draw 2x4s because I deal with electrical stuff. I don't draw 2x4s. I don't draw houses or anything like that. But call it a 2x4. It's actually not 2x4. It's 3 and
Right.
5/8, and 1 and 3/4. And so what you could do is you could actually draw that, and then you actually apply the gypsum or the sheetrock on the one side, and then you end up with your 2x4 wall. I was just doing this so you can actually kind of get the feel of that particular thing. So when you're drawing things, now, if you're drawing a plan view of a wall, you're just going to draw 2 foot by 4. You're going to draw a 2x4 wall. You're not going to draw all the sheetrock. You're not going to draw all the stuff. And you're actually going to do, like if you're doing this, you know, peel on, much like we did in our assignment, is you would offset this 4 inches, and that would be your wall. And that would be what you call your wall, because you're not showing all the components inside that. You're actually just showing the representation of a 2x4 wall. Okay.
Cool.
But this makes it fun for if you want to play with things and see how things will fit. Because if you started placing a desk in here and you started seeing how well it would fit in here, you could play with those kind of things there as well. And you can actually get into you could print this if you really wanted to. You can actually take this, export it out to an STL file, take it over to your 3D print software, cut it, and then actually print this thing. I could actually just cut this out and print it, scale it down to where it fit on my printer, and I'd have a little 2x4 wall there. It'd be kind of cool. Okay. All right, guys. Cody, any questions?
No, sir. No.
Okay. Liam, did you have a question, buddy?
He already took off to bed at 9:01.
At 9? Oh, wow. Okay. I thought the 3D stuff would already excite him already, but
He
okay.
was, but he was like, I'm tired.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. If you guys want to play with that this week and have some fun with that, send me some samples of what you've done, and enjoy that. All right.
All right, sounds good. You said just do like the 3D design and send you what we come up with.
It can be 3D or you draw a plan. I mean, just I want you to basically go through the exercise of creating a block or a few blocks and how to use them. Okay. And
Okay.
now I'm going to point out a little bit of tricky point is make sure you identify that insertion point. Okay. So if you're drawing off in the middle of your drawing somewhere and you just block it, you don't bother picking that insertion point. It's going to be really weird when you go to try and move it and manipulate it.
Gotcha.
All right, guys. You guys have a good week, and we will talk to you later. Feel free to send me any questions you might have or reach out anytime. Okay.
Sounds good. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right,
sir.
guys. Take care.
You as
Bye.
well.